Right, the most outrageous cheating stories you've ever heard. Subscribe and like so you don't lose the channel and can discover even more wild stories on different topics. I used to go to a comic shop, and the comic shop owner knew all of the gossip in the area. Nice dude, remembers all of his regulars and asks about you if he hasn't seen you in a while to check in on people. A lot of people in the area grew up with his shop, so he's got stories. Anyways, he told us about this story from some years back about this regular who disappeared for a few months, comes back one day, and the shop owner asks him, "Hey man, haven't seen you in a while?" Kind of like, "Where have you been?" The regular was like, "Oh, I've been getting divorced. I had to move. It was a whole thing." So naturally, the shop owner asks, "Why are you divorcing your wife?" The regular caught his wife cheating. He had picked up a second part-time job as pizza delivery man because he was trying to fund to take his wife on her dream vacation. All of the money he earned from that job was supposed to go into that vacation. He had been working this job for like 6 months. It was a whole secret. She didn't know he was doing that for her because he was trying to surprise her. He was the pizza delivery man at the motel she was cheating at him with. The dude she was cheating on him with answered the door with her right next to him. He apparently didn't even go back to the pizza place. He quit on the spot, went home, packed his shit, and left town. My ex-wife pretended to be admitted to a mental health ward for long-term treatment while actually staying with her new man and cheating on me. Just got home from deployment on an anniversary trip with my now ex-wife to Vegas. We go to a couple Cirque shows, do some pay-gow, get a very fancy dinner. The whole anniversary spared no expense experience. She was passed out drunk and her phone was blowing the like 20 messages from an unsaved number. So I looked. They were very romantic and messages and pictures. She had been texting him the whole night. Even while we were at dinner, she told him she wished he was there instead of me. She had been messaging him for months, my whole deployment, basically. Well, I dug deeper, started reading other message chains. I found like 9 other affairs with both men and women. She was even a third in a throuple and caused the husband and wife to get divorced because she kept breaking the rules and husband without the wife there or stau behind her back. A family friend's husband was having an affair for 20 plus years, and that woman knew the entire time about his family. He was at her ranch one time and was bucked off a horse and broke his back. The affair partner called his wife to tell her and acted like everything about the situation was normal, and the wife had no reason to act all upset at the affair. Some people really just have no shame. Guy lived and made a complete recovery, left his mistress, and they stayed together since they were working on their relationship. He died a few years ago, and the wife finds out he never actually left his mistress, just lied. My dad cheated on my mom with a coworker. She suspected him of an affair, but didn't know for sure until he didn't come home one night. I remember walking in the kitchen the next morning and asking my mom where he was. I was only 10, 11 years old, BTW, and she goes, "He didn't come home last night." So she called him at work, and he said he slept at a friend's BC. He had too much to drink. My mom called the friend's wife. She confirmed my dad was not there at all, and that's all my mom needed to know. It destroyed our family. My mom packed his shit and left it by the door. She got addicted to prescription pills afterwards and tried to herself. She only lived BC. I found her and called 911. After that, she just left, took off, dumped me and my sister with my dad, who will ill-equipped to raise 2 almost teenagers. So he met this super who was recently widowed. They got engaged, and before I knew it, I was living with her. And I had 6 stepbrothers and sisters. Things only got worse from there. I enlisted to get away from it all. Whole thing my sister up pretty bad. A guy I know, who was married with a kid and another on the way, went over to Germany as a civilian contractor to the army. While in Germany, he had a fling and got the girl pregnant. He comes back to the States to his wife and doesn't mention it. The girl from Germany ends up calling their house and leaving a message telling my friend when their kid is due. Well, friend's wife hears the message first, and shit completely hits the fan. They get divorced, and he now has 2 kids by 2 different women that are 2 months apart in age. The wife ended up remarrying and is in a good place. I haven't talked to my friend in years. He met some girl online who was from the Philippines and went over there to be with her back in 2015. And I haven't heard from him since. I'm not sure what became of the German girl and his daughter. Total roommate was sleeping with his boss who was married with a child. She would arrive at our house at 5:30 a.m. Having told her husband she's off to gym, they would have an early morning shower, get ready, and go off to work together. They would also do it at work, in the bathrooms. On weekends, he would go do his food shopping, and she would coincide her food shopping, so they would walk around the store together doing their shopping. He came home one night and sat my other roommate and I down and told us that within the next 6 months that she would be getting a divorce, and they were going to have a kid together. Let's just say she's still married, and he's got a new job. They were lawyers, so much for being fit and proper. I've shared this in the past, but it's worth repeating. We were deployed overseas, and my buddy got the dreaded "Dear John" letter from his fiancée. She included a photo of another man's in her mouth to twist the knife a bit. He proceeded to have said photo made into Christmas cards for her whole family. About 6 weeks go by, and the letters and phone calls to the command come in. He goes before the command and explains the situation and shares the letter and picture with the higher-ups. They were pissed, but there was no punishment for him. A friend of a friend in the military was deployed to Afghanistan and came back with some injuries and gnarly PTSD for which he applied for a handsome Veterans Affairs claim. A few months after he got back, he found out his longtime partner was cheating on him the whole time he was gone with a friend of his, who she then left him for months after his return. He separated from her and eventually killed himself due to everything. She got all his money because he didn't adjust his benefits before he died, with which she erected this awful-looking estate on the other end of town. I have to pass by this house every so often, and it hurts so much every time. I also have my own story. I just graduated high school and left for the Army, and my GF went to college. Between basic training and AIT, I was gone for just shy of a year. The entire time, I was sending my GF money to be able to go out and enjoy herself. Her parents were really poor, and she didn't have much income. Every weekend, she would go out and party with her friends, as most college kids would do. This went on for a year after I got back. On the weekends, she'd spend the night Friday, all day Saturday, and then go out Saturday night and stay with her friend. I drove her to her friend's house multiple times and even buy them bottles of alcohol. Her friend would come out of the house, say hi to me, then Ella drive off. Turns out the house I was taking her to was a guy she'd be the last year I was in training. They both used me and my money to party their asses off and each other for the last year. And her friend was actually the dude's sister and encouraged her to cheat on me. So basically, I gave her $8K in 11 months while she used my money, my gas, and my car to go dude. And in some twisted, sick way, she got joy out of using me to literally drive her to his house and use my money. She tried crawling back a few months later after the dude cheated on her. I laughed and told her to go Write in the comments which story shocked you the most. Or share your own story in the comments if you want, and we can feature it on our channel.